Hey everybody, there are a ton of ways that you can follow us online. We've got our website, realnerdspodcast.com, that you can go to and you can read articles and find the podcast episodes there as well. If you like social media, you can follow us on Facebook at Real Nerds Podcast or on Twitter and Instagram at Real Nerds. You can also call us anytime and leave a voicemail at 720-6NERDS5, and then we'll play your voicemail on the show. Thanks for listening. I hope you like us.
Hi, this is Dave Callahan, creator of Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
And this is Peter Atencio, the director of Jean-Claude Van Johnson, and you're listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.
This is Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Pop Culture Con 2021 and beyond. I'm Ryan. On Zoom again is Brad, Corinne, and Zach.
Yep.
Every week on Real Nerds Podcast, we see a new movie and we podcast our experience of the world. Except for the last 15 weeks, we've been stuck at home and going back in time. This time we went back to 1994 when Alec Baldwin was a star. And
was he though?
Yeah, I think he's actually
when he was good looking for sure.
That's true. That's true.
I think he still looks good.
He does. Oh no, he does. I'm just wondering, were we giving him enough roles?
He still looks good for his age, kind of like the way Harrison Ford does, but he doesn't look like super attractive anymore. Obviously, because he's 60 something.
Probably.
Yeah.
So we watched The Shadow this week. We'll tell you if you should revisit The Shadow. We'll also talk about movies that are coming out, movie news, and stuff we've been watching. Yes, he seems like he's about 62.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Ryan.
How's everybody's week going?
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
It hasn't been the best of weeks, it seems like, all around. So.
Yeah.
Well, I had a very interesting conversation with my boyfriend yesterday.
Ooh.
I don't know how we got onto this discussion, but he's told me before how he just doesn't really watch movies. Even for a regular person, he doesn't watch, if I'm up here, if we're up here and then your average person's in the middle, he's way at the bottom. He never watches movies, ever. And when we went to the drive-in and we saw Iron Man and Beauty and the Beast 2017, he hadn't seen either of them yet, which was very surprising.
Wow.
And we're talking about movies yesterday, and I start listing off, have you seen this? Have you seen this? And he's like, no. I'm just trying to, find something. And he's like, I've seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Have you seen the Indiana Jones movies? He's like, no.
Oh, my God.
Have you seen the Star Wars movies? He's like, I've seen 1 through 6. And I'm like, have you seen the sequel trilogy? And he's like, I've seen Rogue One. And then I said something about the Hayao Miyazaki movies, and he's like, what is that? Is that anime? And I'm like, well, what, kind of, sort of, not really. And he's like, oh, I don't like anime.
Uh-oh.
That's all right.
I about had a brain aneurysm because I was like, what? You don't like anime?
Not everybody likes anime. Anime is weird.
Not that weird. And he even said, I haven't watched Avatar: The Last Airbender because it looks like anime. And I'm like, but it's not anime. And it's in the style of anime, whatever.
It's your job to educate him.
I know. And then he brought me this beautiful bouquet of roses.
Oh, so, no one cares. No one cares, Corinne.
So he makes up for it in generosity.
Ryan, don't disparage this. We're watching a romance blossom once again on the Real Nerds Podcast.
Yes. Well, we're very happy for you, Corinne.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we've been going out for more than 6 months now,
Nice.
But I didn't tell a lot of people for a while just because
That's okay.
we were kind of just kicking it, and then the pandemic happened, and I'm like, well, I guess we're serious now. So, and then of course it's hard to tell people when you don't see them in person anymore.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. But I forgot to tell you the other half of my story was that I sent him the AFI Top 100 list, and I was like, how many of these have you seen? And I counted, and I had seen 41. I texted my youngest sister and as like a control group, and I was like, how many have you seen? She said she had seen 21. And then my boyfriend texted me that he had seen 11. So I'm like, okay, it's time to put together my list of the definitive 100 movies you need to see before you die. So that will be my next post for the Real Nerds website, is the 100 movies, my 100 movies you need to see before you die.
Cool.
Cannot wait.
I'm sure you guys have seen most, if not all of them.
He may have seen more than I have on the AFI list, actually. So
The AFI list is a little skewed, though. I mean, it doesn't have Army of Darkness. It doesn't have anything.
It has a lot of older movies on there for sure.
You know what it doesn't have? You know what it doesn't have? Halloween H2O. And I think that's a movie you should watch.
That is a travesty.
I can't believe I threw my favorite franchise under the bus.
I mean, there was some low-hanging
good.
fruit on there that I was like, I can't believe, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is on there, and he's like, I've never seen that movie.
Well, I guess depend on how old he is, because like
He's right.
It seems like we kind of got Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs on accident because it came in that slew of VHSs that Disney released. So like we got the old ones and the more recent 90s ones all in a big bunch. But like I don't know if my nephew's even seen Snow White. He's watched Frozen 2 how many times I can't tell, but I don't think
Zach, that's your job. Get him to watch Snow White.
I'm trying to get him to watch some of those ones I've tried. My sister said that she tried to get him to sit down and watch Fun and Fancy Free, which she knows is my favorite, and he apparently was bored. But he's 2.5. So what does he know? He's 2.5. What does he know?
It's different to make a 2.5-year-old watch a movie versus an almost 30-year-old.
But you don't understand. Fun and Fancy Free has ventriloquist dummies. It should be amazing for all ages. But yeah, actually, we will talk a little bit of Disney and what we've been watching too, because I got a heaping dose of Disney this week.
So I'm going to tell you guys something, and I don't want you to be afraid of me, okay?
Okay.
So remember last week how I was telling you that I kept on having a fever and then I felt better? On Monday, it came back and my fever was 103.
hell yeah.
And I went in and I totally
You're gonna do
tested
something to be
positive
great
for
at it.
COVID.
What?
You
Yeah.
what?
Oh,
Wow.
19 or just coronavirus in general?
no, COVID-19.
Oh.
Like I just couldn't get better. Like last week I had a fever, then I went to work and I was fine. And then that Monday night, I got a really bad fever again, like 103. And then I was hanging out with Kellen, and Laura started getting really concerned about me because I'm a dude, so I don't really care. And so she texts me, and I was just like zoning out on the couch because Kellen was watching YouTube Kids or something. And she asked me if I was okay. I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then like 8 minutes later, I checked my temperature and it was 102. And then I text her back. I'm like, I should probably go get this checked out. And yeah, so for like 10 days, I had an on and off fever. And now for 4 days, I haven't had one. So
Okay.
yeah, it's been
Shit.
great.
But you still got the virus?
I did.
You still have it?
No, it's gone now.
No.
Like it takes, it's really weird. Like I went in, I was talking to the people at Kaiser, and they said, when did you start getting, feeling bad? And I told him, I was like, I don't know, like 6 days ago. And the dude's like, you've had a fever for 6 days and you haven't come into the doctor's office. And it's like one of those things where like it would go away for a day. It was so weird.
Your brain's been boiling in your head for 6 days.
Yeah, and so I went there, and he looked at me, he's like, dude. I said, I'm like, good, right?
You're a police officer? Like,
yeah, well,
you have good judgment?
well, like he said, well, it could be pneumonia. But he said, but I don't think so. And yeah, it sucked. I mean, it actually wasn't like horrible. It was weird. I I got a fever, and then I would take aspirin or Tylenol or ibuprofen, and it'd go away. And then I would feel fine. And then during the afternoon, I'd get like super fucking tired.
Wow.
And then I would fall asleep for like an hour, and then I'd wake up and feel like shit again. And then it was weird. And like as soon as the 10th day hit of when I started getting sick, like I felt fine. And then now I've been 4 days without a fever, and like it's really weird. I'm pretty sure I got it from this dude I arrested who I had to tackle because he ran away from me. But I can't be for sure. When I talked to the lady from Jeffco Health or whatever, she said you can actually get it going in through your eyes. Because I told her, it's like, I wear a mask everywhere. I don't know where like I could have possibly have gotten it. And she said it can go through your eyes. It's like, awesome.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to, drink my blood so you get immune to it, please
so wait,
do.
did you get tested?
Oh yeah. No, I got tested.
But the frosticulitis canceled it out.
Totally.
I do want to drink your blood to make myself immune to COVID.
Yes.
Will I also gain your powers?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm in.
I was, the only thing I felt horrible about is like I thought I was okay, and then I went to Best Buy to get Paper Mario, and I was like, man, did I fuck up and just totally fuck someone at Best Buy because I had to get Paper Mario? And then I was like, man, I actually didn't touch anything, and I only picked up Paper Mario. But this is before I knew I was really sick.
Yeah.
So that day that I met you by City Hall and you gave me back my DVD and gave me, were you sick that day?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't sick. It was weird. Like I said, it like went off and on. But I talked to my.
But I mean, you were probably contagious that day.
No, because they said that it's like the first like 2 days is when you're contagious, and then it like goes away. I don't know.
So.
I did research. If I gave it to you, Corinne, you already would have had it by now.
Okay.
So if anybody has been in doubt these past 15 weeks, you heard it here from Mr. Ryan Frost that this isn't a fucking joke.
It's real.
Yeah. So wear your fucking masks, people, please.
Yeah.
I want to get back to the damn movie theater.
I'm lucky because I didn't get it that bad, but
yeah.
I think the doctor told me when I was there, 15% of people have to go to the hospital.
Yeah. Well, you're a pretty healthy guy in general.
Yeah. I mean, I work out 2 or 3 times a week and things like that.
You keep up your own like natural immunity and stuff.
Oh yeah. Like, well, there's my boy running by naked. And 2, I mean, I was really worried about, giving it to my wife and stuff, but she doesn't have it. She did get sent home though, so she doesn't have to work for another week. That's good for her.
So then go ahead, Corinne.
I did see something about how just wearing a mask, if you do get it because you're only inhaling or whatever, less viral load because you're wearing a mask, that if you do get it, you will have a milder case, or you're more likely to have a milder case.
Yeah, because that's the one thing is like I always wear a mask. And the only time I couldn't remember where wearing it was when I had to tackle that dude. Is the only time because he tried to run away from me. See, and yeah, I mean even when I saw you, Corinne, I was wearing a mask. So yeah, it was weird, but I'm fine now. Yeah.
No, I was getting a little concerned because we recorded our your final Shamley, and this is not to plug it, but at the top of the episode, you were talking about how you were not feeling good. So
yeah, so that was a day before I went in, if I remember right.
Yeah. I remember texting you, going like, "It says like we're gonna do this by Zoom." We spent a lot of time trying to get it prepped, and then when I heard that story, I'm just like, I should have prepped my end a lot better before.
No, it's fine, and that's why today I said we need to do it by Zoom.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Because today's actually the 14th day of when my symptoms started, so technically I'm fine. I stayed in our guest bedroom for 6 days. It was awful. So it's just like boring. But I did play a lot of Paper Mario,
the best,
and I read a lot of comic books. Cool, buddy. And my wife's fine. My kid's okay. That's all that I care about. Kellen's running around naked and showing me stuff he's going to make for Halloween.
Brad's on the telephone.
Yep.
definitely delicious.
That does look delicious.
We can't name that.
Okay.
Look, that.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Hi,
So,
Callan.
can you say hi?
Hi. And that. And
Thank
Okay.
goodness you didn't call me Blacklist Lady.
Hey, Kelly, what show does Corinne watch all the time?
black movie.
Yep.
Don't feed it to him, Ryan.
No, he said the black movie. So, I mean, that's pretty much the blacklist. He knows what it's talking about.
No, if anything, that's Zach. Zach's the one who watches the black movie.
So, hey, Zach, let's do some movie news.
Okay.
It's real news.
So there's not like a lot of fun news other than the fact that AMC is delaying its opening yet again. But anyway, movie news. Where was I, Ryan?
Tenet, and I was telling you that it's going to open in select U.S. cities on the 3rd.
Yes, that is correct.
And Colorado is one of the movie theater states that will allow movie theaters to open at like 35%.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that a couple weeks into August they'll start doing some legacy programming, and then we'll be back to somewhat normal.
Yeah, to get us kind of slid in there a little bit as best we can.
Because the good news about, I guess, if there's good news for Colorado, is even though cases are going up, the hospitalizations are still kind of staying low.
Yeah.
So continue to wear your masks because I don't want this to get worse.
Yeah.
Take it from someone who knows.
Okay, that was mean, but fine. You've been through a hard time. I get it.
No, it wasn't that bad.
But no. So anyway, though, but yes, from a larger perspective of the country, yes, AMC is delaying its opening like that it was planning on. So that hasn't changed much. As a result, a lot of films have been pushing back. Period. Mulan was taken off the schedule completely.
I bet it's going to be a lot like Tenet.
Yeah, seems like. And then Paramount pushes A Quiet Place 2, Top Gun Maverick to 2021, and they're also setting some dates for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, so more bad news. But I am excited for Top Gun Maverick regardless of when it comes out because I want to see that in IMAX. I'm not like a big Top Gun guy, but I do want to see those aerial shots on IMAX really bad. But not all hope is lost, guys. We're going to be getting in some theaters on September 1st and on VOD the return of the two great ones, Bill and Ted, in Bill and Ted Face the Music, and we got a new trailer for it, and it's way better than that first trailer.
Yeah, the first trailer was really rough.
Yeah, it was really rough. This one pretty much sets the story up, and that's great. I kind of just wanted to get the story out of the way there. I think I already know the ending, but I don't care because that ending would be great in my head. But yeah, we also got to see the return of Death. We got to see them recruit some, Bill and Ted's daughters recruit some figures of the past as well. So everybody's getting in on the Bill and Ted fun. Within that, Kevin Smith gave a review of the film that said it's transcendent. I don't know if that's him talking or the weed talking, but either way, I'm excited because if he's excited, I'm excited. And on that note, we actually got a trailer for a new Kevin Smith movie, which I didn't even realize this was still happening, called Kilroy Was Here, which was originally going to be his Krampus movie. And at Comic-Con at home, they debuted the trailer for Kilroy Was Here, which is an anthology horror comedy that centers around this kind of this little character, a bald man with a bulbous nose. And it's inspired by the doodles that the GIs would make in the 40s during World War II, and it's that phrase "Kilroy was here," so that's where they're drawing it off of. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I guess it looks interesting. The trailer was not like it was what it was, but like any anthology that I've been seeing recently, like with Nightmare Cinema, I'm down for some kind of like. Doesn't need to be a full story; it can be little scattered shorts. So
I like horror anthologies. Scream Factory has Tales from the Dark Side coming out, and I always really liked that one.
Yeah, and I need to get Creepshow from that. I really need to get Creepshow.
You should.
Yeah. At any rate, also, if you are in LA and you like the El Capitan Theater, they're offering concessions to go this weekend. Or the last weekend. So they might extend that out. So, hey, if you want to get Mickey Mouse pretzels, go right ahead.
Heck yeah.
Here's
That's like one of my most favorite things to get at Disneyland.
Yeah. Speaking of places that are in LA, though, and also probably in Florida, Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights has been canceled for the first time in 30 years. Guys, wear your fucking masks so that we can all wear our masks again on Halloween night. But yeah, no, this is actually a shame because they had a lineup that I can't remember what the lineup was supposed to be this year, but they were apparently supposed to be changing it up a bit. So I would have been excited to go if I could.
It's one of those things I always wanted to go see. A couple years ago, they did Freddy versus Jason. I really wanted to go to that one.
Yeah, there was a year or two where they did Psycho, and I know they did House of a Thousand Corpses, which would have been a lot of fun.
Hey, Brad, remember when we went to that one called, like, a really long time ago called Slasher Gulch or something, and the slashers there were smaller than, like,
Is that the one like
kid?
on South Parker?
Yeah.
Like it was like an abandoned Albertsons.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I love the idea, but when your Jason is smaller than, like, the size of my kid, it's not that scary.
And they're always just like doing this and like following you from close behind, like just put your hand out, forehead, like
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and I'm trying to remember what they said early on they were going to be doing something, and I can't remember what it was to save my life. But regardless, yeah, this is sad. Like that's a fun night for people out there in that area, and you know, it's a shame they're not going to get to have that. And I know LA is going through some even worse shit than we're going through. So, But moving on, it looks like Edgar Wright is set up to direct a movie called Stage 13, a movie about a ghost that haunts a film studio. So that sounds like a lot of fun coming from him. And it's going to be an adaptation of a short story by a guy named Simon Rich, who I've never heard of. He says the movie won't be traditional, like in terms of a traditional horror movie or a ghost story. So I'll be very interested to see what comes out of that.
Love everything he's done.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's pretty great. He'll probably pop up in our 2010 film explosion if I'm.
He better.
Yeah. And then
it's Scott Pilgrim, Corinne.
Yeah, versus the world. Yeah, I'm aware. It's not.
No, Corinne was thinking about why he would be in 2010.
Because he made one of the best movies of 2010, Corinne.
Keep on thinking if I should switch to vegan so I can get vegan powers.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to eat a lot of bread, but bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat?
Thank you. Oh God, that's God. I need to rewatch it before Film Explosion as well. At the Comic-Con at home, we also got a Looney Tunes cartoons panel, where amongst other things, they debuted another short from the next wave that's coming out called Postalgeist, and I've seen the short. It's great. It's Daffy and Porky are fighting.
I think they just put like 4 more on HBO Max today.
They did? Okay.
Because I got a alert about it.
Okay, I didn't get any alert about that, so that's good to know. But the panel, amongst other things, introduced us to this really cool box set to celebrate Bugs Bunny's 80th anniversary. You're going to get
already pre-ordered
60 shorts remastered. You get 10 shorts from the new Looney Tunes cartoon series and a new documentary about the 80 years of Bugs Bunny's history. And you're getting the edition with the Funko or whatever it is.
I think that's the only one that's available.
Okay.
I mean, I pre-ordered that one. It's I think $70. But here's the way I look at it: if it's 60 cartoons, I'm paying $1 a cartoon. Meh.
Yeah, and you're also getting the 10 HBO Max ones.
True.
In physical media, which they haven't released any of them yet through that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be some great news. If they buy this out a bunch, then that means we get Daffy Duck, and I want that because Porky Pig 101 already set the standard for glory. And now I want this to be completed so I can stop whining on the internet. And then the last bit of news is everybody died. Everybody died. Actually, not everybody. Just we got our usual 3, and then we were hit with a surprise 4th. But amongst the people that we would be familiar with, would be John Saxon, passing away at the age of 83, in films such as Enter the Dragon, Black Christmas, and of course, A Nightmare on Elm Street and A Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors, where he played Lieutenant Donald Thompson. I love John Saxon. Like,
he's one of those guys who's in tons of stuff, and you like him in all this stuff.
And he worked with everybody. Like, his filmography listing is fucking nuts. And if you watch the Nightmare on Elm Street Legacy documentary, like nobody says a bad word about him. Nobody has anything bad to say about John Saxon. Yep. Nothing other than he's a legend. And he, I love the story in that where he went into Wes Craven after he got the role, and he brought in a kit with 2 different types of wigs. He's like, all right, which one do you want me to wear to play Lieutenant Thompson? So, and he was in a movie that I reviewed for the Clint Eastwood series called Joe Kidd, where he plays a Mexican revolutionary, and obviously casting a white actor in that role is always specious to watch it years later. He's really good in the movie, and I would recommend people check out Joe Kidd to watch how good he was when he wasn't just in horror movies, or Enter the Dragon he's really good in too. But if you want to check out him in a very early role, Joe Kidd is a good one to go with. But then the big shocker that came after John Saxon was Olivia de Havilland. Finally passed away at the age of 104. I say finally because it always seemed like she was never going to die. But that's a legacy. Like, she's literally like one of the last big stars of Golden Age Hollywood that was alive.
You know, everyone points to Gone with the Wind. My favorite movie with her is The Adventures of Robin Hood.
That's the correct answer. That's the
because
correct answer, right?
It is.
You won a gold coin.
It's such an amazing. It's the greatest adaptation of Robin Hood.
Yep.
And what's really fun is when you watch that one, you realize how much the Disney one aped off of it. Because even the Fox is Errol Flynn, and their Maid Marian is definitely Olivia de Havilland, and it's so that movie is fantastic. And if you have an opportunity, the Blu-ray is great from Warner Brothers.
Yeah. And glorious it's like a Technicolor triumph. Like, that movie looks incredible because of the detail they put into it. That was Warner Brothers saying, we really want to get into the prestige business. They went all out on this. They ended up using both William Keighley and Michael Curtiz to direct that movie because they didn't really like what Keighley was doing, so they brought in Curtiz to finish it off. But it ended up being one of their biggest moneymakers that year and getting nominated all across the board.
And what's she lived such a life that after she passed, there's been stuff that's been popping up. And there's a great article from Vanity Fair about her and Joan Fontaine's kind of rivalry. I mean, I think Joan Fontaine is stunning. Yeah. And it's a great article. Just go to Vanity Fair's Facebook page. it's on there. And it talks a lot about Errol Flynn and how much she loved him, but then she stopped liking him for certain reasons. Yeah, exactly.
And there's amongst the other movies that she was in with Errol Flynn, Captain Blood, where they were first put together, and that's really what gave Warner Brothers the assuredness to put Flynn in Robin Hood.
Hey, Zach, is it 10 movies that they did together? Is that right?
I think so, yeah. There's a bunch that you can go through. Like, there's one that I would recommend to people if you haven't seen it, Dodge City. Dodge City is really good. It's actually, the plot is the movie itself is the basis for Blazing Saddles as a plot. But they are both great in it. And there's also They Die with Their Boots On, and they did a couple other films together. But she wasn't just Flynn's co-star. She also was in films like Princess O'Rourke. And she was in a later horror movie called Lady in a Cage, which I haven't seen, but it's got early James Caan in it. And I'm very, very interested to see it. And I've been hearing from different friends of mine on Facebook that it's one I should watch. So I'm going to look for Lady in a Cage. But that's not the only thing. She wasn't just an actress. She wasn't just a beautiful screen presence. She was also a warrior who fought Jack Warner in court to get herself released from a contract. And thus basically her lawsuit, which ended up becoming de Havilland's Law, was the beginning of the end for actors having to have exclusive contracts at studios and also having those contracts unjustly extended. So Olivia de Havilland was a big pioneer in the rights of film workers, like very early advocate for to fight against those injustices that, we talk about the injustices of the film studios today, and they are bad. They were even worse back then. Like, for all the love we can have of the movies they produced, like the Moguls were not wonderful,
horrible people. Horrible.
And Olivia de Havilland fought that, and it's funny because Betty Davis, who ended up saying later on that everybody owed a debt to de Havilland, she tried to do the same thing that de Havilland did and lost big time, and had to go back on bended knee to Jack Warner to even get a role. Period. But de Havilland fought it, and they held it in Los Angeles Superior Court, and it's why you rarely, if at all, see an actor exclusively signed to a studio. I mean,
yeah. Now it's first looks.
Yeah.
Where let's say Lee Wynall, he gets a first look through Universal. Right. If Universal passes, he can take it anywhere he wants. Back then, that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And Olivia de Havilland is a big reason why. Cary Grant is a big reason why. It's because they didn't like what they did. And I mean, I love this. Like I told this before, Cary Grant would tell people like Jack Warner to stick it up his ass. And
yeah.
I mean, he did that in My Fair Lady. They told him they wanted him for the professor. And he told Jack Warner, if you don't cast Rex Harrison as the professor, not only am I not going to do this movie, I'm never going to be in another Warner Brothers movie ever again. And they go, he's serious. And then people like Olivia de Havilland that blazed that trail too, because although women at that time in Hollywood were the bigger stars, they were treated horribly.
Oh yeah,
and that's so hats off to her for taking on the studio system and not being pushed around, and that's why she's a legend.
And you should also look at a film like Charge of the Light Brigade. Again, another example of her and Flynn's chemistry. Like their journey together is interesting as co-stars because they work so well on screen. Now, granted, Flynn's got his own baggage that is not fit for the 10-minute segment we're doing on de Havilland right now, I guess. But de Havilland was like one of those like last people that we have a glimpse of, like that was living of this era that is pretty much all but gone for the fact that we still have the movies available to watch.
Hey, Zach, did you follow her on Facebook?
I never did. No, I followed. I thought I followed her, and then I found out later that page was a fan page, and I was like, okay, no, that's not the same thing. So. But I know that she was active on social media.
Yeah,
interesting. So.
I know you guys said like, Gone with the Wind, whatever,
she's good
for other films, but she is really good in Gone with the Wind.
Oh yeah.
Melanie's one of the most sympathetic characters in that movie.
We rag on Gone with the Wind a lot, but it's
and deservedly so in some instances.
Yeah, in some things, yes, but it's also one of the greatest films ever made. Yeah. It might not be the most exciting. I liken it a lot to Lawrence of Arabia, where these films are epic and they deserve to be watched. But at the same time, you go, okay, I get it. It's 4 hours long.
There was a point that in her discussing initially why she wanted to be in Gone with the Wind, I thought this was interesting. Is like out of all the actresses in Hollywood that wanted to play Scarlett O'Hara, she was the one who was just like, no, Melanie, I want that one. She seems like she's a lot more likable.
No, she totally is. Like Melanie is actually the heroine of Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
And because you notice, like, once she dies, the movie immediately ends.
Yeah.
Spoilers for a movie that's 81 years old.
Hey, but it's funny.
I would contest that Scarlett O'Hara is actually maybe the first anti-heroine in film, or one of the first.
I'd have to rewatch the film again to.
Oh, she is a bitch. She's kind of. I mean, actually, I've never seen Breaking Bad, but. From what I know of, like, your kind of typical, because Walter White is kind of held up as, like, the typical anti-hero.
I know what you're going to compare.
Him and Tony Soprano, right? And it's kind of like, they're not, like, good people, but because of the situation that they're in, you kind of root for them. And it's the same thing with Scarlett O'Hara, but, like, she is by no means a good person, but because she goes through hell, you're kind of like, yeah, I want this gal to like come out better on the other end, and she doesn't really.
Oh no,
No.
I agree 100%. I mean, there's characters that stick with you, and I think Melanie is the one who sticks with you in Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, she's literally the
Yeah, she's like Jane Bennett. She's like too kind for her own good in some instances.
she's literally like one of maybe two hearts in that movie. Like, as far as like those lead characters are concerned, but.
Yep.
It's interesting that she dies in the movie, and she was one of the last people to die from the cast.
I think she was the last one to die from the
Yeah,
cast.
exactly. She's gone now, so that means the curse is broken. I don't know. But yeah, no, 104, man, a hell of a fucking life. Got made a name later in her life by the Queen. Which, by the way, how did that take that long to happen? Excuse me. Like Sean Connery he became a sir or something like that. No, or like some of our more modern actors got that, but. We had to wait for Olivia de Havilland. I don't buy that.
Just like I had to wait for Rod Stewart.
Yeah, that also was so.
That's a
Olivia
travesty.
de Havilland, Jon Stewart, and Hitchcock didn't get it until way later. So I'm still angry about that one.
It's interesting. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't know how they pick them, but
out of a hat.
Yeah.
They get it out of the crowd.
I mean, now it's a lot to. I mean, not only for the arts, but you have to be pretty active in charities and stuff.
Yeah.
Which
And
I guess
de
makes you
Havilland-
night because
Yeah.
I don't know.
A weird coda on de Havilland, though, is that when she, right before she died, she was portrayed on the FX TV show Feud, Bet and Joan, which is a good TV show if you want to check it out. But she sued the producers of it for the portrayal of her in that series, and this time her lawsuit was not upheld by any superior court. So she lost that battle, but she won a more important years ago. So yeah, so long, man. We will miss you. And that is news.
All right, Brad, do you want to take us around town, buddy?
Yeah, let's go to the drive-in.
Hey, film buddies, follow me around Denver.
At the drive-in, the 88 drive-in is, why is it not on this page anymore? The Jungle Book. They're doing the Jungle Book, Men in Black, or the 2017 Jungle Book, 16. Men in Black and Deadpool starts Friday, July 31st.
So what's the best Disney live-action remake? Is it Jungle Book or Cinderella?
Cinderella for sure.
I think Cinderella is the most. I was more shocked by how good Cinderella was, and the Jungle Book is a pretty astounding movie too.
I mean, considering that the animated Cinderella, like 30% of the movie is just like mice running around, they really like had to stretch that out and really make it into.
Well, I mean, part of the reason is because Cate Blanchett is freaking amazing in that movie, and the costumes are stunning, and they got the right director for that film for sure.
They also gave a lot more background to the prince and the king in that version. So,
what if it's Mulan?
Cinderella.
We don't even know.
Yeah, no.
Well,
I mean, I think Mulan looks amazing. There's that. I love. I think Mulan, the animated film, is one of Disney's most underrated films. Because I think it's overshadowed by Eddie Murphy's Dragon. But if you cut that out and just focus on the story, it's a pretty great story with some great music in it.
Also, the art style of that movie is very unique.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I go for Jungle Book. But for weird reasons. Like, I never thought you could find a person to do a reasonable version of Blue that wasn't Phil Harris, but Bill Murray did a great job. So, and the movie looks incredible. It's also changed The Lion King, but I can live with this. So.
But arguably, I mean, they already had Rudyard Kipling's like beautiful novel and stories to go off of. So it's like, I mean, how can you mess that up?
True. I mean, the heart of the story is already there. If you, just keep it the same, it's still going to be pretty awesome.
I think with Cinderella, they had more work to do.
Yeah, I suppose so. I just really like the Jungle Book.
So if you head a little bit more south from the 88, you can hit up the Denver Mart Drive-In, which I think is like 56th Avenue.
58th.
58th. And they are showing E.T. and Back to the Future this weekend.
Hell yeah. See the Back to the Future steel books that are coming out on 4K?
Yeah, I think I'm still going to go with the book version.
Yeah.
Because I have that Target steelbook from the Blu-ray set, but
hey. I love that it just makes like a big DeLorean. I think
across all three time periods. Yeah.
What about the drive-in in Fort Collins?
The drive-in in Fort Collins, they have 2 screens, and the first one is playing Karate Kid and then 50 First Dates.
I thought you say 50 Shades of Grey. I'm like, what?
That's one sexy drive.
Actually, that's kind of a fun.
It is rated
thing.
R, right?
Yeah, I mean the Karate Kid's not rated R, so it's still a weird.
That's what I'm saying. Is like you have usually like whatever the more mature rated film is later in the evening.
Is the connection like the moves, like the crane kick, is also like a sexual thing? So yeah, there's that screen. Second screen, which I'm going to, is Star Trek 2009, and then Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan.
Oh,
ooh!
So awesome double feature. Yeah,
very nice.
New Trek for the youngins, and then Stay Late for the classic.
I just kept thinking now about Corinne connecting Karate Kid with 50 Shades of Grey, going like, I want you to kick me as hard as Daniel San kicked William Zabka. Do it.
Yeah, sweep my dick.
First of all, Ryan was the one who said I don't want to.
You were the one who made the connection. Sorry.
No. Ryan was like, I thought you were about to say 50 Shades of Grey. Don't lump me in with that terrible movie.
No. I'm not.
Have you seen 50 Shades of Grey?
No, of course not. Because
then how do you know it's terrible?
Because it's terrible.
Because I heard someone on the podcast talk about it. It was Ryan.
I have seen all of the Twilight movies, and I'm done. I'm done with that bullshit.
But the 50 Shades of Grey has like this guy who almost dies in a helicopter, and then he comes back with like dirt on his face.
That's 50 Shades Darker. And it also has
fuck! I don't even remember which ones they are.
And that also has the cigarette picture that
I'll never forget that we saw that in the theater, and me and James could not stop laughing when he showed back up out of the clear blue, and like, why is everybody crying? Not even knowing that he was supposed to be dead, and I don't know if he walked home or what, but I'll never forget that scene as long as I live. I'm always tempted to watch him again just for that scene.
Corinne, I'll tell you, this is the extent of the stupidity of at least the first 2 of that series. There's a scene where one of the bad guys at the very end takes a picture with his phone of a family photo and then prints out that photo and then burns it with a cigarette at the top of a cliff, because you have to know that he's going to be a threat in the third one.
That's the cliffhanger.
And I nearly threw my computer out the window.
Or what about the time where she's like approving book covers? And then she approves the one, and then she goes downstairs outside. This is all in the same scene. She goes outside, and that book picture that she just approved is like in the window.
Yep.
You go, wait, what the hell is going on in this?
The turnaround of their publishing company is ridiculously fast, beyond any comprehension.
Who knew a movie about sex would be so unsexy?
And so convoluted and stupid.
And on that note, that's what's going on around town.
Nice. Hey, what's coming out on Blu-ray?
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
I think we're down to the doldrums, Ryan. Of just nothing. Although maybe there is some stuff to be had. Who knows? I'll tell you what. Do you like 13 Ghosts from 2001, Ryan?
It's coming in my. It'll be in my post, I think, tomorrow.
Yeah, and it can be in all of your guys' homes via Scream Factory Collector's Edition on Blu-ray if you want to pick that up. We've got the complete collection of Wonder Woman on Blu-ray, which is that a reissue? Seems like that should have already happened by now.
I think it was only on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Well, now you can get Linda Carter's Wonder Woman on Blu-ray, and that show's fun.
Yeah, it's all right.
Let's see.
Linda Carter is beautiful, though.
She is. She was a lovely Wonder Woman. Scream Factory is also putting out Graveyard Shift, or Stephen King's Graveyard Shift.
Have that one coming too?
I have not seen that, Ryan. Is that worth my money and time?
You know what? I'll let you borrow it. It's about these guys. I haven't seen it in a long time, but if I remember right, it's about these dudes who work the graveyard shift, and there's like mutated bat people or something that eat them. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's that.
I'm down with that.
I'd have to remember.
It's not that I need assurance, like, because I'll generally dive into whatever horror film I can find my hands on. It seems like I would be hard pressed to spend $20 on this particular one. Whereas 13 Ghosts, I'd be curious on the bonus features alone to figure out how that movie got made.
Well, I mean, Graveyard Shift is fun. It's a monster movie for sure.
Right.
I used to rent it all the time when I was younger. I haven't seen it probably in 15 years, so I don't remember exactly the beats of it. But I'm pretty sure it's bat like people, or maybe rat people that eat the dudes. I think.
It's so weird. Like it's a Stephen King adaptation I am not familiar with. Like, and
if I'm wrong, then it's $20 I won't get back.
You know which one I like that doesn't get a lot of credit is Cat's Eye. I enjoy Cat's Eye.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on though. There's a reissue of Apocalypto, which I still have not seen, and I'm perfectly fine not watching it. I guess.
It's okay.
Yep. Let's see. There is a movie from 1975 coming out from Vinegar Syndrome called Old Dracula with David Niven, and I really, really want to see this. It sounds interesting.
The New Adventures of Old Dracula.
I guess it's supposed to be a play on Young Frankenstein. Is what I read about it.
That's what it sounds like from this premise. I'll read the premise for everybody because I had never heard of this before. In the spoof of the Transylvanian legend, Count Dracula sinks his fangs into a bevy of Playboy bunnies in order to find the right blood type to resurrect his dear departed wife. Then, after a mix-up in the lab, he finds he has a different kind of problem because he's old, guys, and it's erectile dysfunction, I'm assuming. Anyway, or fang problems, because he's a vampire. Let's see. Kino Lorber is putting out the Universal production of 28,000 Leagues Under the Sea from 1916. So that might be some fun to check out if you like some good old science fiction. Jules Verne from the silent era. Warner Archive is putting out the 1940 version of Pride and Prejudice with Greer Garson and Laurence Olivier. This is a version I have not seen, so I'll have to pick this up.
It's really, really good, but also kind of bad.
You know what?
It's not close to the book at all, but it's like entertaining in its own way.
But
it's definitely it feels very like glamorous. Like,
and no Colin Firth in a wet shirt. So
hey, it has Sir Laurence Olivier, and he's fully clothed, and he looks beautiful. So shut your face. Okay?
And Ryan, you know who it does also have is Greer Garson, and I do like me some Greer Garson.
She's really good in it too.
Yeah, I would expect nothing less from Miss Greer Garson. Kino Lorber's putting out The River from 1984 with
is that Meryl Streep?
No, it's Mel Gibson and Sissy Spacek.
Oh,
and
Scott The River Wild.
Thank you.
And they are also putting out an Errol Flynn and Maureen O'Hara movie called Against All Flags from 1952, which also features Anthony Quinn. He's down there in the lower left-hand corner. And they're also putting out Lorenzo's Oil with Nick Nolte and Susan Sarandon. This is Nick Nolte when he... So, yeah, you can check that out if you like. I don't think I... Do I like Lorenzo's Oil? It's not in a science class, and I don't remember it. Like, beyond Nick Nolte working his ass off to find a cure for his kid. But it is directed by Mad Max Fury Road director George Miller, so if you want to complete your George Miller marathon, there would be the way to do it.
I didn't think Lorenzo's Oil would
Warner
have car
Archives
chases
also,
in it.
I do. You know what? I do remember in Lorenzo's Oil when Nick Nolte said, "It is by my hand you will rise from the ashes, Lorenzo." So,
witness me, find the cure.
we've got 2 war parties on our tail, and we still don't have a cure. And then also Warner Archives is also putting out $1 Million Mermaid and Esther Williams swimming pictures. So if you want some Esther Williams in your life, there's your chance. Or you can watch Hail Caesar, where Scarlett Johansson does a great Esther Williams impression. And then I don't know if this is new, so somebody's gonna have to clarify this for me. There's a steelbook of Wonder Woman in 4K. Is this a new steelbook?
Yeah,
It must be a new steelbook because the old one I was not a fan of the old one, so I actually got that one's sweet. I
Yeah,
got the original one.
yeah. Mine has the cartoon art of her.
Yeah, I got the standard edition because I didn't like the cartoon art.
Okay.
Wait,
Yeah.
does that not even have her face on it?
She's in shadow.
I think that's that's like the original poster, kind of, where she's standing holding her shield and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I get that, but it looks like it's like cut off at like her neck, which
I don't know.
looks really creepy.
I do love Wonder Woman.
And is perhaps detrimental to the whole conversation. Because don't you want the woman, not the object?
She's in the shadows.
Well, I get that. That's like the whole point of the silhouette. But I'm just saying, throw her face in there so we know she's not just like a body. She's like a person. I'm about to throw hands with a Blu-ray cover.
And then the last 2 we have are Kino Lorber's putting out The Public Eye with Joe Pesci and Barbara Hershey. This is a movie from...
Has anyone seen The Public Eye?
Have you seen this, Ryan? Because I haven't.
No, I've never even heard of it.
The cover is Joe Pesci looking like an old-timey photographer, so I'm very, very interested. And then the last movie, coming from Vinegar Syndrome, and this is a Vinegar Syndrome exclusive, slipcover limited edition, The 11th Commandment.
Wait, there's only 10 of them.
But Ryan, is there? Is there? I will read.
Did Mel Brooks drop the slab again?
These 10 commandments.
Any History of the World fans out there? No?
No, there should be everywhere. They taught me about the Inquisition and its horrors with a big musical number.
I still think the greatest joke in that is Hitler on ice. But, yeah. How can they say I'm not a king of the people? Paul! I haven't seen that movie in a long time. That's a great
What's your
movie.
occupation? Stand-up philosopher. What? I inspire people with my thoughts on the human condition. Oh, you're a bullshit artist.
Oh, man.
The plot of The 11th Commandment is a murderous psycho breaks out of a mental hospital and goes after his aunt and uncle who had him committed. So far, I'm hearing nothing about the additional commandment.
Oh, man.
Was it thou shalt not throw our nephew into the loony bin? I have no idea. You'll have to pick up The 11th Commandment. And that's Blu-rays, guys.
We watch movies throughout the week in a segment we call What You've Been Watching.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
I actually haven't been watching a lot. I actually started playing some games on the
Nice.
Switch again, and
Nice.
Mortal Kombat 11 was the first one.
It's a fun one.
And I was really impressed with the story.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, huh?
Story mode, like, it's so cinematic to the point where I'm just like, can I just play the game? But overall, like, it was like actually poignant, dramatic story. Like, I haven't played what happened before, so I'm kind of catching up to the whole Liu Kang Raiden rift. And what Raiden does to repair that is just like, heartstrings.
Yeah.
What a
Well,
move.
it's basically in Mortal Kombat 9, they had a story mode and they rebooted it as well. And what happens is Raiden will do anything to protect Earthrealm. And at the end of Mortal Kombat 9, he basically receives a vision from himself in the future saying if he lets Liu Kang win, then all these events will happen. So he kind of changes that. And then at the opening of Mortal Kombat 11 is the end of Mortal Kombat 10, where Raiden is torturing Shinnok, and he becomes corrupted. That's why Raiden's red. And if good Raiden's blue, corrupted Raiden becomes red. But yeah, no, it's pretty great. Who's your go-to character?
I mean, I really only played story mode, so you kind of get to play everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have one. Otherwise, I've just been playing as RoboCop and
Nice.
He's all right.
Yeah,
I'm really
he's
bad at fatalities.
yeah.
I could just not get the timing down.
I always like the faster characters. I like Cassie Cage a lot. New character, I love Cetrion. Cetrion has so many power moves, and people usually don't choose her. So when I fight online in ranked matches, I win a lot because people don't know how to fight me. Because she has lots of special moves and her combos are pretty devastating. Because most people, when you go online, they're going to be Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Liu Kang. Every once in a while, I'm surprised playing somebody, but not that often.
Yeah, I think I did in story mode. I did the best as a Kodokan, but he's
tough to use.
He's just like a bruiser. So
yeah, so he's like a boss character. So
yeah,
yeah, if you can, I mean, I love his fatality where he kicks your head off and smashes a monkey sculpture on you.
I'm very Mortal Kombat ignorant. Who's the worst character in Mortal Kombat? Out of curiosity.
I mean, that's
anybody who isn't Raiden.
Whoever didn't make it into Mortal Kombat 11, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Liu Kang. He's one of the popular ones. I like Kung Lao a little more. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah. Also,
listeners, write in. Who's the worst Mortal Kombat character?
Well, I mean, Su Hao from Mortal Kombat Deception is like a really horrible, like Chinese caricature. And then they have goofy ones like Mocap, where it's like the motion capture guy. Those guys are kind of meh.
Wait, Mocap? The motion capture guy?
Yeah, he's like a hidden character.
Okay, is it just a guy in a motion capture suit?
It is.
Oh, so it's just Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis
Pretty
got
much.
it. Mortal Kombat. Gotcha.
Yep.
Now I was genuinely curious because I don't know these characters that well, and I might get a new system soon, and I might want to get a Mortal Kombat game.
You should.
Yeah,
great.
I got 11 because it was only $20 on the Switch that week. So
that's a great deal.
And I wasn't gonna get Aftermath, but I think I might now because it's just
the story's great.
In just Aftermath or just like combined?
Yeah. So like, it's really good because the dude who's Shang Tsung in the game played Shang Tsung in the movie.
Oh, so that's why he wasn't in the. Okay.
So he's really like the dude he's really great in it. And Sonya Blade is voiced by Ronda Rousey, and it's awful. But the Peter Weller is RoboCop, so that's great. And then the guy who plays Shang Tsung, I think it's I forget his name, but Carrie something.
So
he's great in it.
RoboCop's actually part of the story. It's not just like, hey, a fun add-on.
He's not in Aftermath, no.
Okay, so he's just a fun add-on. Okay.
He's just a fun add-on, like the Terminator.
Because in Use Them, they talk about like OCPs tied to whatever combat is, like it's all orchestrated. But,
yeah, it's fun. I mean, he's not part of the main story, but he's fun. He's more fun than Terminator. Terminator's not that fun. Probably the best add-on character is the Joker. He's pretty sadistic, and his fatalities are awesome.
I bought him, but I actually haven't used him yet. But and I also forgot like part of the story, like even Johnny Cage and like Sonya and Cassie's story.
Mm-hmm.
Having to like live with their doubles for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Like Sonya dying.
At
the end, like I didn't register me when they started the game. It didn't register to me that they were already like 20 years older than like they're treating it like real time, like they would have been 20 years younger when Mortal Kombat 2 came out, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And then Kotal Khan and Shao Kahn's like rivalry, and then Katana coming in to like take over the realm. Like that was a cool story too. So
yeah, you probably like the Aftermath story. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it's an impressively dense game. And even on the Switch, like, the graphics aren't as great as probably the PS4, but...
Yeah, but, I mean, there's so much to do, too. Have you even gone into, like, the crypt or...
Yeah. I mean, the crypt is just like, hey, more money.
Yeah. I mean, you can get to a point where you unlock them all, but to get all the heads, it's like you have to beat each character or do a fatality on each character 25 times. So there's a really easy way to do it. So what you do is you pick, like, an endless tower... and you only fight one round. So the person on the bottom, you just beat them, do a fatality, and then just quit the tower and then go back because that person keeps on populating it. And you can do that pretty fast.
Nice. I still have to get good at fatalities. So
easy.
For you. I just can't get that timing. Yeah, there's one last thing.
And you also got Link to the Past, right?
I got Link's Awakening.
Oh, Link's Awakening. I'm sorry. Link's
Yeah.
Awakening is an amazing game.
Which I just started, and yeah, I never played the Game Boy version of it, so this is completely new to me. But yeah, like right away, I'm like, it's only, the only like top down Zelda game that I've really invested time in. But yeah, like within the first hour, I was like, okay, I'm just rocking along, and then I got stuck, and I couldn't figure out like what to do, and then eventually, you know, I just tried this one thing, and now I'm off in like the next world, and yeah, it's just a fun puzzle solving, like who needs what, you know, go find this thing, take it to this other person, and yeah, I just miss Zelda. Like,
yeah, it's a really fun, and it's one of those games too, because my favorite Zelda game is Wind Waker, and I remember when that came out, people were always, you know, iffy about the cutesy cartoon characters, but it looks great. And this one's cool because they're kind of like Lego people, or Weebles. I don't know what you want to call them. And the art style's really cute, and it's really well done. It's a great game.
Yeah, that comparison never like, they always confused me, because even on the Game Boy games, like Link was tiny in Toon, so
yeah,
people just complain.
But no, yeah, Link's Awakening, I got it, and you know, for the first hour, I was like, oh, this game's pretty fun. And then I slowly started getting into it as my progression got better. I got more weapons, and I started finding the compasses, and then before you know it, you've already beaten, you know, a couple dungeons, and you've played it for like 3 hours. You go, oh, all right.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. So that's my next quest.
Nice.
And then the last thing I watched was an actual movie that I watched, and that was Death Warrant, because that Blu-ray came out, that special edition, and you know, I think we talked about it on Film Explosion, but I forgot the like the non-corrupt prison part of the movie, which is the officials are harvesting inmates' organs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like the guy, it's so weird. The guy who is doing, like, orchestrating the harvesting, you know, hires his niece or something to do the investigation, like, and he's surprised he got caught. I know they tried to like make it look like the actual like prison, like head of prisons is the actual you know, guy causing trouble, because he's always got like the negative attitude about it. So, but yeah, it's just, I thought that was a fun, like, why would you hire your niece to do this? Like, and then when,
how long did it take for you to get your Blu-ray? I ordered mine the day you told me, and I haven't gotten it yet.
I think I ordered mine the same day as you.
Huh. I wonder if coming up here takes it longer.
Maybe. Shipping's weird right now.
I know. Like I ordered stuff on Amazon when I was really sick, and which probably isn't the best thing to do. But like now some of them are taking like a week and a half. We'll see.
Yeah, I got tons of like outstanding stuff that's just like, I've got stuff that's arrived before I've even gotten like a tracking number. Like, it's like, oh, cool, I didn't know this was coming. And then there's stuff that's like has a tracking number that's just like been out forever. So that's what I've been watching.
Corinne?
So not too much. I watched seasons 2 and 3 of Community. I really had to like stop myself because I was like, I want to start season 4 like right now, and I was like, pace yourself. Like, there are other things to watch, you know.
Troy and Abed in the morning.
Oh my god, I love this show so much. There have been so many great episodes that I was like, oh, that was a good one. That was a really good one too. That was even better. Like the one that I can think of right off the top of my head is when they spoof Law and Order.
Oh yeah.
With the sweet potato or yam or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. I love when it's just the most inconsequential object or story point that just plays out for the whole like 22 minutes. It's such a brilliant show.
It really is. It's definitely like in my top 10 favorite TV shows of all time.
Because I started
so far. I mean, hopefully seasons 4 through 6.
They're good. They're not quite as strong, but they're still good. I mean, I've been rewatching them too because I ordered the Blu-ray set after I heard that they're pulling episodes off of Netflix, and I just watched the episode where Jeff Winger is way overconfident because of his new prescription he got, and when he puts on aviators and Dean Pelton walks up behind him, and he's like, Jeffrey. And then he
And then he
looks
just
at.
falls over.
Yeah. I love Dean Pelton. He's probably my favorite, like, reoccurring character.
I think the guy's name is Jim Rash, and
Yeah,
he actually voices the Riddler and a bunch of other characters on the Harley Quinn animated TV show.
Yep.
He
And
got an Oscar a couple years ago for The Descendants, right?
Yep, and he also directed Downhill this year with Will Ferrell and Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, he's a talented fella.
Good for him. I think he should do more voice work. I think he's got a good set of pipes for it.
He's in Iron Man 3, or not Iron Man 3, Captain America: Civil War, and he's like begging Tony for a grant.
Yeah, if you pay attention to all the movies that the Russo brothers have directed for Marvel, all the community people are in it. Shirley is in the elevator with Cap and Tony in Endgame, and
Abed's in Winter Soldier.
Yep. It's good stuff.
And I did notice that I don't know how you say his name, but Ludwig Göransson is the guy who does the music on Community, and of course we know him for Black Panther and The Mandalorian.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting to see like this kind of weird confluence of like older talent like Chevy Chase, and then like newer talent with the guy who's Troy, whose name escapes me.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, thank you. He was a writer on 30 Rock, so I wonder like how, like if some of the same humor he brought with him.
So there's a great Donald Glover Community Easter egg in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yep.
On the TV, there's a picture. There's the scene where Troy wakes up and he stretches. He's wearing Spider-Man's outfit. That's on the TV and Into the Spider-Verse when Miles wakes up.
And if you ever have a chance, listen to Donald Glover's stand-up, because he talks a lot about the whole. I don't remember how long ago this was, Ryan, but there was a whole thread about like casting Donald Glover as Spider-Man, which ended up paying off somewhat in Homecoming. But like the bit that he does on it is brilliant, and it also is a big pointed like commentary on how the internet continues to operate today.
Mm-hmm.
He's really funny.
Yeah, Donald Glover's an amazing actor.
Yeah, and also like a couple of other episodes I thought of are the like claymation one that they do for the Christmas special, which I'm not a big fan of claymation, I guess, because like when they first started, I was like, well, this looks like really creepy. But as it went, I was like, okay, like the story isn't engrossing enough. And then the other one was the video game with Giancarlo Esposito as spoilers, Pierce's half brother, and I was like, I would legitimately watch a spinoff of those two. Like, I want to see like racist Pierce living with his black half brother and like having to just get along. That would be really interesting.
Well, first the creative crew would have to get along with Chevy Chase, which that's not happening because Chevy Chase is Chevy Chase.
Right. I do feel like I have seen stuff on the internet about how Pierce is like he is basically Pierce in terms of like racism and stuff.
He's had a reputation for a very long time of being hard to work with, and in Community he's slowly written off of the show.
Yeah,
I think season 4 he's in like 3 episodes and he does a voiceover and he never comes back.
Yeah, they did a funeral episode, which was one of the ones they did as a table read for charity recently on during one of the COVID things. So,
I did watch the 30 Rock special that they did.
Nice.
Forgot about that. It was really good. I mean, you're kind of limited on like just shooting people at their house and stuff, but for the quality, it was pretty good. It felt a lot like 30 Rock. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, it's a fun little thing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I watched was it was a Netflix anime film called A Whisker Away. And
I bet it has cats in it.
It does. It does have cats in it, and it's like a combination of The Cat Returns and a silent voice. So it's like really like tonally weird sometimes because it's like you think it's going to be all fantastical, and then at the end it takes this really sharp turn into like Depression Town, and you're like, whoa, great, I really enjoy that. It's got some neat elements in it, though. I don't know if I would recommend it. It's almost a little bit too bizarre, and they really pack a lot into it because I was like, all right, we're going to start wrapping this up, right? And I pause it, and I'm like, we still have 45 minutes left of this movie. Oh, my gosh. So the pacing's like a little bit weird, but I don't know. If you're really dying to check it out, go ahead. It's a whisker away. It's on Netflix or something like that. I think I got the title right.
That's a ringing endorsement.
I know. I was like, Once Upon a Whisker, like something with whisker in it.
So memorable.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I know our guy Johnny Young Bosch, the guy who voices Vash, the Stampede.
He's the Black Ranger in the second season of Power Rangers.
Yeah, nobody cares. But he's one of the voice actors in it. I know.
I did. People do care about the Power Rangers. I did a panel with the Power Rangers at Comic-Con, and there was like 7,000 people in that arena, all cheering for the Pink Ranger because the Green Ranger was late.
Right. Well, I don't care about the Power Rangers. I know him for his voice work because he does great voice work. So, but it's a little bit weird that he's like 42 and he's voicing this kid who was like either middle school or high school. So, a little weird.
Have you seen Grease? 40-year-olds are playing high schoolers.
I know, but that's just like you could get like a 16-year-old in a voice booth. That's not that hard.
Well, there's children's rights for working in Hollywood.
Get an 18-year-old in a voice booth then. Jeez.
Yeah.
Whatever. I won't complain because he's a great voice actor. But yeah, that's all I've been watching.
Zach?
Alrighty. Watched a couple things. My catchphrase, haha. I rewatched The Sunshine Boys. Still a fun movie with George Burns and Walter Matthau. Ryan, I think you should give this one a watch at some point. I think you'd like it a lot.
Sounds like I like those two guys.
Yeah, and it's still one of my favorite scenes is they're trying to rehearse their sketch. It's about two vaudevillians who are kind of coerced into a reunion, but they don't like each other. They broke up their act because of differences in the way they approach the act and also just things they don't like about each other. And they're trying to rehearse the sketch, and it's Willie Clark, played by Walter Matthau, is really laying into Al Lewis, played by George Burns. And at one point, he's getting angry because George Burns' character keeps poking him when he's trying to make a point. So he pokes him in the chest really hard, according to Matthau. And Matthau pulls out a knife and goes, "Next time you use the finger, say goodbye to the finger." And there's this, it's one of the most beautifully staged shots I've ever seen of Walter Matthau pretending to be a much older man, chasing a 78-year-old George Burns with a kitchen knife. And so it's still a fun movie. Lots of fun. It's available on Warner Archive, but I think you can rent it too on Amazon and such. I rewatched Lost Souls because Brad got it for me as part of my Severin 3 for 50 Blu-rays. It's the documentary about the making of Island of Dr. Moreau and how Richard Stanley was kicked off the set and then later cursed the set itself. It's still a fun documentary. Just watching the footage of them trying to make that movie that turned out to be a god-awful mess is always a fascinating experience. Rewatched The Thin Man with William Powell and Myrna Loy. Gotta love some Nick and Nora and Asta too. Always a good time. I want to go through the rest of the series again because I watched The Thin Man a lot, but I don't go back to the rest of the series a bunch. So that might be some little side project I'll do down the line. And then I went ahead and I finally followed through on my commitment to Corinne, and I rewatched the 2005 Pride and Prejudice, directed by Joe Wright.
Yay!
So here we go. And Ryan's going to take his headphones off because he knows.
Yeah, I heard Pride and Prejudice. I'm leaving.
Gosh.
So to preface this, I had seen this movie before. It was shortly after I saw Atonement for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, I want to see what else Joe Wright has done." And it's Pride and Prejudice as a plot. I was just kind of like, as a teenage boy, I was like, "Okay, this is not really for me. It's beautifully shot, looks beautiful, but I'm not relating to anything." I'm older now, so I can get in touch with emotions better. Arguably, I mean, like I'm still not confident in it myself. But when I realized rewatching it that when I first saw this, I really wasn't paying attention to the story. I was really trying to just get through it and go like, okay, I've seen this movie. Rewatching it, I've become more invested in the plot and thusly these Austen characters, which this is a problem with me when it comes to costume dramas, is that like if it's well made enough, I will get sucked into their drama. And this is definitely the case with Pride and Prejudice. So if you don't know the story of Pride and Prejudice, or as I have been referring to it as Formality, the motion picture, because everybody calls everybody Mr. and Mr. I hear the word Mr. and Mrs. so many times in that movie that I was just getting annoyed at a certain point. Obviously,
yeah, it's kind of like how old-timey British and America works.
Oh yeah, and don't get me wrong, like I know this is in other movies, but for whatever reason today I was just noticing it all over the place. But it's about the Bennet family and one Elizabeth Bennet and her her constant roller coaster of emotions with one Mr. Darcy.
The abusive Mr. Darcy. Right, gotcha.
Yes, exactly. And so here's the thing. So I haven't seen the miniseries version. And so Ryan was describing last week, I believe it was, how he doesn't understand why Elizabeth would go with Mr. Darcy. I'm here to report that I understand for a couple reasons. Number one, it's based on source material from the late 1700s to early 1800s, Corinne? I don't know when Jane Austen was around. So
Regency era, like 1830s, I think.
Okay, so that makes sense why she ends up with Mr. Darcy, Ryan. It's because that's when it was written. But more importantly, I don't know how
convincing argument.
I don't. Again, like I'm trying to be kind here as best as I can. But the other thing is that I don't know how Colin Firth plays it in the BBC version, so I'll have to see that eventually. But Matthew McFadden, who plays him, it's interesting. He plays it like a jerk, but he's so
Mr. Darcy is one.
Okay, as he's supposed to be at that top half. But as you keep going, he's so soft spoken that I don't know exactly if he's a jerk. One thing I know for certain is that I'm trying to figure out, is he supposed to be sexy because of the things he corrects after he screwed over the marriage, the potential engagement of Elizabeth's sister to Mr. What is it, Bringy?
Mr. Bingley.
Bingley, yes, Bingley. Oh, by the way, this movie hates redheads because they're either portrayed as goofballs or very mean, cruel people, and I will not stand for it as the proponent of the redhead community. But yeah, no, it's weird. Like I appreciate that they progressively try to redeem Mr. Darcy in the eyes of the viewer, but I'm not like fully convinced as a modern viewer, I guess. And I don't know if that speaks to my inability to connect with Austen's material. It's highly possible. As I was watching the movie, the character I connected most with was Mr. Bennet. One, because he's played by Donald Sutherland, and two, because when he first opens his mouth in the movie in a way that the audience can seize it, he opens a door. All of his daughters are huddled around the door eavesdropping, and he goes, "Oh, look, people." And I was just like, that's my character. That's my spirit animal in this movie that I'll connect with for the rest of this journey. And so, yeah, I will say this about the film ultimately. Like, it is one of the most interestingly shot period dramas I've ever seen, because basically Joe Wright's throwing in 90s to early 2000s filmmaking techniques and visual schemes into this movie. So there's a lot of snap zooms to people. There's a lot of intentional staging where not every. One of my favorite scenes actually is when they're doing their dance, and then suddenly everybody else in the dance hall disappears, and it's just dancing. And I like the way that's visually represented. Whether or not that works for Austin's material, I have no idea. I'm looking at this solely as a film viewer and a quote unquote filmmaker. So I appreciated what it does on a visual level, and like the performances are all fantastic. Like Keira Knight's charming in the movie. Matthew McFadden is good at what he's doing. Donald Sutherland's my favorite part of the movie, as I spoke before, but really tender and warm in the movie as well. Judi Dench's cameo is, I think, less screen time than she had in Shakespeare in Love, which she won an Oscar for. So I'm surprised she didn't get an Oscar for this movie as well. And she's basically relegated to hard, cold stares and basically has the same amount of screen presence as Michael Myers does in a Halloween movie, where she just stares. She gives like dark, blank stares at people like she's sucking your soul out. It's crazy. And lest I forget cousin Mr. Collins, who it's sad to say the portrayal of him by Tom Hollander is interesting. I don't know if this is how every person portrays him, but it seems like he has a disability, and I think it's kind of weird that they're like almost making fun of this disability in the movie, because he clearly has like it's nothing against that. It's just more or less like I see that in there, and I'm just like, it seems like a weird choice for this movie, but I'll go with it. And Mr. Collins is like, he's ultimately harmless, but it's the way they're positioning him. It's almost as if though he's supposed to be like this quote unquote villain type, and then he's not. So again, I don't know how Austin works, so I could not tell you what Collins is supposed to represent. I think Corinne would probably have a better idea than I do. But I mean, I enjoyed the experience overall. And I would be fine going back to other adaptations and seeing how they play out, because it also feels like this story is very light. It doesn't like it's so streamlined. I'm assuming Pride and Prejudice is a very thick book, and this feels like the bullet points version to more or less. I speak that mainly because all the other sisters in the Bennett family are treated like garbage and have nothing to do in the movie, except for Jane and I guess Lydia, because I guess Lydia is a character in the movie. I don't really believe she's a character, because the only big scene she has to do with an enormous dick in the movie. Which, oh, by the way, Corinne, I have a question for you. The man that Lydia marries, the military guy.
Yeah, Wickham.
So the shot where they're leaving after they've had this like beautiful dinner, and it's revealed that Mr. Darcy was like responsible for the whole wedding and whatever. When she's saying goodbye to her family, from afar, the shot looks like that the military guy forces her to sit down. So is he like a dick to her in their marriage going forward? Because it's what it looked like.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The last chapter of the book is kind of like a denouement, like wrapping up like how everybody, progresses and stuff. And yeah, they basically says that his love for her runs out very quickly, and her love for him runs out shortly thereafter.
Okay. All right. So then that was a good piece of direction by Wright to suggest what her fate will become then. Because I was like, I felt weirded out by that at first, and I was like, no, maybe this is like one of those little small touches. So okay, so that's good. So that's a way he's able to address it without having to give up the ending that he has, which it's very, very saccharine, but I enjoyed it as a person who's trying to warm up his heart recently in life. So I did enjoy their little banter at the end, looking out into the darkness as they all say, like, well, you'll call me Mrs. Darcy when you're really, truly lovely. And there was a part of me that's like, Oh, this is adorable.
Which I
And
think
then
that scene is actually the American ending. Like that was something they added on for the American version. I don't know how it ends in the UK. I don't know if there's like an alternate ending or if it just ends like when she tells her dad, like, I'm going to marry Mr. Darcy.
So, but again, though, it was one of those things where I was just like, okay, I do have a heart because I did enjoy this part of the movie. Does it justify Mr. Darcy in my mind? I don't know. I'd have to watch other versions and see how they portray it. Or I'd have to read
Interesting.
the book.
I really feel like Matthew McFadden's Mr. Darcy is not that much of a dick.
No,
like,
he's very soft-spoken. That's the thing. Like, he barely says a word.
Yeah,
that's the weird
he's just
part.
awkward. Like, that's the whole thing. Is he's not nearly as much of a just asshole as Colin Firth Darcy is in the 95 version.
It's weird. He sounds like a Vulcan most times because he sounds like he's very logical when he's saying what he's saying. And I'm like, so is Mr. Spock dating Keira Knightley today? That's interesting. But, but I can't, I'd have to see what Firth does with it to see more of what Ryan was seeing out of it, I guess. But I will say that, it's worth your time because it's not that long. And I think you'll get a good kick out of it in the afternoon. Watch it it's an afternoon movie. This is not an evening movie. This is an afternoon movie where the sun's still shining in your window. But yeah, and that's all I watched this week, guys.
Is it my turn? I mean, is it finally? That was like 13 minutes of fucking Pride and Prejudice. God damn.
I will say, Corinne, I do want to do a commentary.
Okay, that's enough.
We'll do a commentary for it, and we will force Ryan to listen to it.
Can't force me to do anything.
I will force you.
Yeah, I watched only a few things. I played a lot of Paper Mario, which is really fun. The battle system's a little different if you want to play a Mario RPG. I always love the art direction and the art style of Paper Mario games, and they're always really funny. So yeah, pick up Paper Mario, the Origami King for your Switch. I watched all three Paradise Losts because I wasn't feeling that good, so I kind of just put something on, and then it was horrible because it's a horrible thing. If you don't know the story of Paradise Lost, it's about the West Memphis Three, which is a group of kids that were convicted of murdering 3 school-age children, and about how they were portrayed and how they were probably wrongfully convicted of these murders. Paradise Lost is really interesting because it starts with the trial of these guys, and it devolves into that they're Satan worshipers, and this was a satanic murder. And they eventually get convicted of it, and one of the guys, Damien Eccles, is put on death row because he went on the stand and he kind of said things that were a little
he was
odd.
he was very cocky.
Yeah, it's a very interesting study because I think the first one is 93, the second one's 99, and then I think it's 2011 is the last one, or 2012.
2012, yeah.
And these kids happen to, it's almost like they just were picked on because of the Southern church and people not understanding who these children, or they're all children, who all these kids were. Listening to Metallica and wearing black and stuff doesn't make you a killer.
Right.
And it's so every time I see stuff like this, it's, where you learn that the police didn't interview the right people. They didn't do this right. And it seems so obvious when you watch this stuff or you read about it. And I went back and I did research on the actual murders too, because sometimes in documentaries, they always portray one side. But they actually did a really good job of doing both sides when they were in the first one. Mm-hmm. The second one, they kind of devolve into following one of the children's murder one of the murder victims' dad, who people believe might have been responsible.
Yeah, Christopher Byers, who recently passed away.
Yeah, his name's Byers. But he when you watch it, he doesn't seem like he was one who would hurt his kid. I just think he didn't know how to deal with his grief.
He's going through
And
trauma.
yeah, and he, I mean, I if something happened to my kid, I don't know. And I mean, he passes a lie detector test. There's no DNA tying him to the murders. And then the last part talks a lot about another one of the parents and bringing in FBI profilers and saying, the people that killed these children probably knew them. And what is really fascinating is the only reason the spotlight started getting shown on one of the parents who turned out to be a stepdad is because he sued Natalie Maines, who is the lead singer for the Dixie Chicks, or the Chicks now, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
And by doing that, he was disposed. And so that means he had to answer questions.
Deposed.
And they got, what?
You said disposed. I think you meant deposed.
Deposed, thank you. And he, so she has real lawyers, not lawyers from, West Memphis, Arkansas.
Yeah.
These are real lawyers. And, they asked him, did you see the kids on the day they were murdered? And he said, no. And he said, well, what if I told you that we talked to people and they said you did see them about an hour before this murder happened? And the way he changes is pretty astounding. I'm not saying that he did it. And what's lost in all of this is those guys eventually got set free. But what's lost is these poor 3 children that were brutally murdered because everyone's focusing on these kids that were probably wrongfully accused. And then the clues that the local law enforcement missed. It's a tough watch because they do show the crime scene photos and video from these poor kids that were murdered. But it's a really fascinating thing as you watch it.
Had you seen them before, Ryan?
No, I saw the Peter Jackson one.
Oh, West of Memphis, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had talked a lot about the Paradise Lost docs when I first started coming on the show, but
yeah,
the first one is pretty amazing because of how down the line it is.
Yeah.
And the fact that Berlinger and Sinofsky, who were fantastic directors, and Sinofsky's unfortunately passed away, but they did a really fine job at towing a line between showing those both sides and trying to show it unfolding rather than creating the more recent verge of documentary and how they form them. Like Making a Murderer and Tiger King are guilty of what Paradise Lost does not fall prey to, which is kind of just presenting it and showing it unfolding in a Maisel style. But yeah, no, they're great films. The last one's interesting because they were ready to finish it, and then they found out the guys got released, and so they had to hurry, get that footage, and then get it in order to make their deadline.
Yeah, it's really fascinating because when you see the one kid, Jason, like, he doesn't seem. I mean, obviously you never know, but he doesn't seem like a person that would hurt anybody. Yeah. And but yeah, like I said, I feel bad for the little boys that were murdered and their families because these crimes will never be solved.
Yeah.
And that's the heartbreaking thing. So
you chose to watch this when you can watch Marvel movies like anytime.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, I did. I watched Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's because I've been at home, and Kellen's been picking movies, and he's been wanting to watch Spider-Man. Spider-Man: Homecoming is a great film. I still think the greatest Spider-Man character moment is at the homecoming dance. The best scene is when him and the Vulture are talking in the car. But the best Spider-Man character moment is when he walks up to Liz at the homecoming dance and says he's sorry because he has to go save the world. To me, that encapsulates who Spider-Man is. And the movie's stunning. I mean, and on 4K when he's fighting on the jet that reflects, the Stark jet. I mean, it's maybe one of the coolest looking scenes ever. So great job with that. Then Kellen wanted to watch a Captain America movie, and I always give him an option on the villain. And he chose the one where the Avengers beat Thanos. So he chose Endgame. And, I've seen that movie, I don't know, 10, 12 times. I don't even remember how many times I've seen it. But I always love the movie. I always say it's 3 hours long, but it's paced so well that it doesn't feel like a 3 hour long movie. And, Kellen liked it, but then he started getting a little bored when they started doing, just jumping and talking to Howard Stark or something like that. Not Hulk smashing. I get it. But there's at the last scene, the portal scene, or not the last scene, but one of the last scenes, what I love about my little boy is sometimes you can't change him being a little boy. So, there's this scene where, Sam Wilson comes on and says, Cap, on your left. And then it opens, and then I saw Kellen perk up, that he got really excited. And then the scene where Doctor Strange comes in and he floats down, and in the distance you can see Spider-Man starting to swing. And then, Pete lands, and Kellen goes, "Yay, Spider-Man!" And that just makes me shed a tear, because I know that movie works on that level too. And what's great about it is I know it's fan service, but the way the Russos compose the shots, the way they reveal them coming back is beautiful. And then Laura was watching it with us too, and Kellen, he's only 5. He doesn't understand death. He kind of does. And so when Tony dies, he asks my wife, she said, well, why did Iron Man have to die? And so Laura explained to him what sacrifice is, and that he did it for this. And so Kellen started to cry, and he said, well, that was really nice of him to save his friends. And I'm like, oh my God, my kid is breaking my heart, but in a good way. Is maybe the sweetest thing I've ever seen. Kellen cried, and then he cried a little bit too at Tony Stark's funeral. So it's such a great movie. The greatest achievement in cinematic history. It's an astounding movie. And I also watched Airplane, which my wife loved. I got the Paramount Presents version of it.
Has she not seen it before?
No, she can't stand movies like that. She cannot stand movies that they're so dumb that they're stupid. But what makes Airplane work so well is they have all these serious actors in it delivering lines like they're legitimate lines. And it's funny. And then I found that the autopilot has an IMDb page. And then I realized he has that because in the film in the film it says introducing Otto, and on his IMDb page he shows up in Airplane and in Airplane 2, so kind of a funny little inside joke.
Somebody on IMDb took that way too far.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So it's a fun movie. The Paramount Presents is a new 4K scan. It looks really great. I love Leslie Nielsen in it.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I put on Twitter, one of my favorite moments in it is, what was it that we had for dinner tonight? You had the choice of the steak or the fish. Yes, I remember. I had lasagna. It's so stupid, but it's delivered so well that I love it. Laura hates it, but that's okay. And the last thing I watched the 4K version of Braveheart, which I freaking love that movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. The music in it's so great. I actually think Mel Gibson is a really great director. He's unfortunately the last 6, 7, 8 years he's had really bad press, but he is a good actor too. The movie's great.
I'd have to rewatch it, but in rewatching Apollo 13 recently, I was like, I kind of wish that had won over Braveheart, but
that's a different year.
I haven't rewatched Braveheart in a while, so
you should. I mean, there's, Mel Gibson gets a lot of flack because he focuses on the violence and stuff like that, but there is a great moment in Braveheart when his wife is put on a stake before she's executed, and she's looking in the distance and looking for William Wallace, and it's shot really well. and they don't show her actual throat getting slit. I mean, you see it happen, but they don't show it, so it's kind of really sad. And then I don't know, because maybe it's because I'm a dude. She's killed, and then the next scene where it's shot, where he's kind of like a ghost coming back to the village, where they just show like glimpses of him on the horse, and it's shot really well. I think Braveheart's such a cool movie, and that's what I watched this week.
Sorry, real quick, going back to the Paradise Lost thing.
Mhm.
I know a while back I watched the film Devil's Knot, and I talked about it on here, but
Written by Scott Derrickson.
Right, and it's got Colin Firth in it, but
Mhm.
that's a dramatized, actual movie version of what happened. So if people aren't into documentaries, that's another approach.
That's I don't like that version. I don't think it's like bad, poorly directed or anything. It just feels off for whatever reason, and I don't know exactly why it is. But Devil's Knot. When you have the Paradise Lost movies, it feels like Devil's Knot's kind of useless at that point. But
obviously there's only so much you can go into, but like what Ryan was saying, like the teenagers, it does kind of. The movie definitely paints it as like they were the scapegoats, and like this is like what the community just pinned this on them, and they weren't really deserving of what happened. But it's kind of vague as to like it does talk about like the one kid's stepdad, and I think he has like a knife on him that had like blood on it or something
that he gave to the HBO documentary people.
Yeah, of all the things.
There, like that night, there was like a black guy who came into a restaurant nearby and had like a bunch of blood on him, and then like that guy is never seen again. And just like different things of like people who might have done it or might have been involved, but they never clearly were like that guy did it.
Yeah, and that's how it is. The crazy thing is that they called him Mr. Bojangles because it's at a Bojangles restaurant. And they called the police about him, and the police went through the drive-thru and got dinner. They never went inside and talked to the guy. And you hear stuff like that. You go, but I will say for The Devil's Knot, if you don't want to watch a documentary that you can see the crime scene photos and you can see murdered children, Devil's Knot does a really good job of encapsulating the story without as graphic of stuff. Because I mean.
It still gets kind of graphic. Like,
it does.
Where they find the bodies in the rivers.
It does. But when I don't know, there's something that's really raw and really devastating about seeing the actual stuff. In the documentary, they show a lot of post-mortem pictures of the children.
And it's unsettling, yeah.
It is. It sucks. The Devil's Knot, I think, is a good encapsulation of the story. If you don't want to sit through, 7.5 hours of a documentary.
Right. And Reese Witherspoon's actually good as the mom in it too.
Yeah. Like I said, written by Colorado's own Scott Derrickson, who went on to do Sinister and Doctor Strange. So
it's a really well done movie. Like it's a movie.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of heavy subject matter. So
it is.
Going into it.
I tell everybody, if you want to watch this stuff, make sure you know what you're watching because it makes you sad.
I've always been under this impression, like after watching Devil's Knot, I was like, it's interesting because that whole case, the filmmakers Berlinger and Sinofsky are very tied into the case, so it almost felt like to me like a really interesting angle to dramatize that whole struggle to get the West Memphis Three freed. If you're going to tell that, you might want to tell it from the perspective of them having to sift through all this footage for a good 10 to 12 year period. Because they went through their own very interesting ups and downs, and like their lives changed over the course of that time. In the middle of the three that they made a Metallica documentary. Like there's a lot of interesting stories behind what made those films, and also the fact that first film is the reason that they had a case to be freed to begin with. But yeah,
and that's what I watched.
Cool.
This week on Real Nerds, we are pulpy.
You okay?
Yeah, sorry. I couldn't think of a good way to introduce our film.
Are you talking about your digestive system?
Pulpy, yeah.
Ryan, we are going to find out what lurks in the hearts of men. What evil lurks in the hearts of men?
I guess just laugh a bunch.
Are you living in 2020? We know what evil lurks in the hearts of men.
Oh
Hey,
yeah, I know.
Brad, should people revisit 1994's The Shadow?
I don't know, man. I think Zach already had a preview of my Twitter live watch of it for him. Before it started, I was like, this seems like something like I would be really into, but it just didn't. By the end, I don't know. I just didn't find Lamont Cranston to be like a character. I was like, I wanted to see win. Penelope Ann Miller's character, like I was more invested in as like a heroine, I guess. And any of his I guess lackeys that he makes them feel guilty that he saved their lives for. Like, haha, I saved you, but now you have to do something for me, isn't very heroic. So yeah, I just, it's a fun slice of 90s superhero nostalgia, but like, yeah, I just couldn't get into like, this is awesome.
Corinne, should people revisit The Shadow?
I've never seen this movie, so
Should people see The Shadow?
you know what? I was kind of like pleasantly surprised by it. I think I just had such low expectations of it that anything would have met them. But I mean, I knew it was going to be campy and cheesy going in, and I was right. But just, I think being prepared for that made me like it more. The first like major sequence, I was like, oh gosh, like what are we going to do? But then like that very first, like the scene on the bridge where we get introduced to the Shadow, I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. Yep. I'm digging it a little bit. So, I'd give it like 6 out of 10. Check it out if you want, I guess.
Zach, it was your recommendation. Should people revisit The Shadow?
I think you should. Now, granted, I'm extremely biased, and I want to thank you all for your patience in watching this hour and 48-minute pulpy affair. I first saw this film when I was very, very like around like 10 or 12. And I was already into the Shadow radio show, so I didn't know this existed. And so when I watched it, I was like bowled over by it. I loved it. And then as I got older, I started seeing its flaws. This is not a perfect Shadow movie. This is not even a perfect movie, but I really enjoyed watching it and having my interest in old-time radio and that particular character, the Shadow, realized to some sort of extent on the screen. It's almost like because this is the only one we really get, I'm perfectly satisfied with what it's offering. There are issues and flaws that I have with it, but it's a guilty pleasure watch for me at this point. I think the idea of Lamont Cranston's character, while it could be better realized, I think it's done pretty well by Baldwin. I like John Lone a lot as Shi-Wan Khan. Penelope Ann Miller, I think, gives a really good job. And I think the film is actually pretty competently directed in terms of trying to capture a noir aesthetic and kind of trying to capture that 30s and 40s mentality. And I think it succeeds on a lot of fronts for all the times it also falls. So I think you should definitely give it a shot. And you should also realize that when you watch this and then watch Darkman, you realize that like both come super close to being the ultimate Shadow movies. All you got to do is give this property either back to Sam Raimi or to a good horror director and make the Shadow terrifying, because he needs to be terrifying to the people that he is fighting against. And the biggest problem I have with the movie is that he's not always terrifying to his prey. So, but yeah, I say watch it. It's a fun watch.
It's okay. My biggest problem with it is, it looks cool. I have problems with the prosthetics that they put on Alec Baldwin. But there's moments where it looks great, but the script really lets the movie down. And yeah, it's directed pretty well. There's some parts though that are really stupid. When Cranston's being followed in the middle of Manhattan by a dude in Mongol armor, and then he goes into like an alley and the bad guy's like, "Hey, where'd he go?" And he was literally right behind him. And stuff like that just drives me crazy. And yeah, it's okay. We'll play the trailer and I'll talk about it a little more.
He was consumed by evil.
For as long as you can remember, you've struggled against your own black heart.
Shoot through him.
Every man pays a price for redemption.
I'm not looking for redemption.
You have no choice. But I will teach you to use your black shadow to fight evil.
He became the Shadow.
I didn't see anything. I swear.
Dump him.
Who's there?
Did you think you'd get away with it? Did you think I wouldn't know? Now, when the world is in danger, report.
Police investigation of murder. Agent advises inquiry.
Who knows what powers stir in the night?
Whatever you did, it's in the past.
Join me. Inside you beats a heart of darkness. I do what I do to fight back the evil inside me, but some part of it is still there, waiting.
Genghis Khan conquered half of the world in his lifetime. I intend to finish the job.
And when the adventure begins,
activate the bomb.
Who knows where it will end? Alec Baldwin, John Lone, Penelope Ann Miller, and Tim Curry. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow.
I did enjoy the art direction. Like I enjoyed the matte paintings of the city. Like the noir feel of that era. It was pretty good. But I also noticed the movie starts like Batman Begins, except Bruce Wayne's a dick, a murderous dick. Like they even got the poppy fields they're harvesting on the side of that mountain, and it's like at Ra's al Ghul's temple.
Yeah, you know what I don't get is, Zach, you're a big Shadow fan. I might be misremembering, but isn't he supposed to be like a World War I hero and he goes missing and then he comes back? He's not like some crazy murdering opium guy, right?
So they do establish in this movie that he fought in the war and that he went and then he went missing, and then that's when he comes back. This version of it, since I'm really big into the radio show and not necessarily the pulps, my guess is that they're drawing a lot from the pulps for this origin story.
But in the pulps, would they say that he's like some cracked out opium addict dealer who murders people randomly?
I don't think they would get that specific, but they do infuse the fact that he learned under, I don't know if it's the Tolku, but he learned from other people the ability to cloud men's minds while he was disappeared. And actually Lamont Cranston's not even supposed to be his real identity. His real identity is supposed to be Ken Allard. And Lamont Cranston is one of many identities the Shadow will assume. But they're trying to essentially balance the mythos of the radio show and the pulp, because the radio show was arguably popular than the pulp stories were even, to a certain extent. So I'd have to look further into it, but I don't know if it's that specific as that he was an opiate warlord. Because again, in the radio show, they never really went into it.
Yeah, it's just a bizarre choice. Because, Corinne's right. When it gets on the bridge, it's pretty great. Because to me, that feels like a pulpy film noir kind of thing. And they have the cool hero shot of him standing at the end of the bridge with his, cape flapping.
But here's the thing. I will say that with that origin story, it makes sense from a pulp aesthetic, because pulp heroes are not like a DC Comics or a Marvel.
Oh no,
hero.
I get it. I mean, most of them are going to be anti-heroes, but
yeah, or disreputable. And like in Lamont's whole thing within the course of this is to seek redemption. So it makes sense. It's interesting the way it's portrayed by Baldwin when he's in his opium den and shooting through his guards to get at his enemy.
I mean, he literally murders a dude.
I don't know, like, why he's chosen, like, what makes him special, and he never, like, I don't really see how he's redeemed other than, like, he's just the hero of the end of the movie.
Yeah, and I'm such a butt. I haven't seen this movie probably in 20 years, but every time the knife was, going rah, rah, I thought of Kung Pao Enter the Fist with a tonguey where it's like, yay, yay! That's all I could think of.
By the way, that knife, the Furba, voiced by Frank Welker. You're welcome. Not that you needed to know that.
He's not the only turtle reference. The guy who played Tatsu was one of the Mongols.
Yep.
So
there's a lot of Seinfeld character actors and other '90s actors roaming around this movie and supporting roles
Yeah, was Peterman the waiter?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And the most annoying airplane companion for Jerry is the head of the museum. The guy who has Farfel the dog, and I think it's like season 1 or 2 of Seinfeld.
Neelix from Star Trek Voyager was the security guard who couldn't help himself.
Yeah, and to me, it's weird. If I was gonna re-edit this or go back in time and be the director instead of Russell Mulcahy, my first thing would be to get rid of the origin story, because I think if you just drop them into the middle of the shadow fight and really kind of you can allude to his backstory, but you don't have to get specific. I think that would serve the situation.
Well, I think his uncle served it enough where he's like, I didn't know what happened to you after the war.
Exactly.
And I think if you opened with them on the bridge would have been awesome.
Yeah, but that scene still works really well. I do agree that the prosthetic of him clouding men's minds with his illusion does not work entirely well today.
Why does his face have to change at all?
That's what I mean. When I watch the film, it seems like it's a movie too where the actor Alec Baldwin doesn't want to be in costume. They do everything they can to make sure that he's Alec Baldwin, even at the end where
he doesn't even have the get up on.
Yeah.
I figured that he was doing that to prevent people from recognizing him, even if it was just
right. He's furthering the ability to cloud men's minds, and he's doing that to protect his identity. But the thing about the radio show and what I think they should have tried to do with this concept is to really keep him firmly in the shadows and only bring him out when it's absolutely necessary. And they really like bringing out the Shadow in this movie to pull out his guns and fight and punch.
But he also doesn't show up that often.
That's another issue is that we need more of the Shadow haunting different criminals and not Lamont Cranston's love life.
That's what I mean. That's where it feels like it's an actor who doesn't want to be in costume and wants people to know that it's Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I don't know, there's a behind the scenes featurette on the Blu-ray from the collector's edition that kind of goes into the making of it, but they don't even discuss certain story choices so much as just a general BTS that we never got of the movie. And I feel like there's some studio interference clearly, but there's also, I think this has been noticed that not Ben Affleck, Alec Baldwin was in line to be Batman at one point before Michael Keaton got the role. So I really think this is Alec Baldwin trying to do his own Batman movie. And
his delivery on lines in the very beginning of the movie for a long stretch are very much he's trying to it's like he's reading a comic book instead of just being the character.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It does. And this is something that I like about the movie in terms of its charm for me personally, is that there's a lot of this film, a majority of this film feels like it was made 50 years too late. If you had made this particular version of the Shadow in the 30s or 40s, minus obviously the visual effects you have, this would be a palpable Shadow movie. It wouldn't be out of line.
I think it would look really good in black and white.
Yeah. My friend Matt Willix and I talked about once trying to make the prequels into silent films, and he had an idea. He already did a bit of it where he made the prequels of Star Wars in silent films. Where he made them 4:3 and sepia tone. And I always tried to pitch him you should do the Shadow with that, where you make it a black and white noir movie, and you can cut out whatever bits that don't really work, and you make yourself a slick 70-minute movie.
I think it would have been really great if they either did two things. They either made like Shawan Khan, is that
Yuan Khan, the
Shiwan
last
Khan?
descendant of Genghis Khan. He's not Genghis Khan. He's the last descendant. That's
Yeah.
why he knows where Midtown is.
If they made him somehow responsible for the Shadow's origin, so he's more of like a more involved villain than just like, I'm the guy who's screwing things up right now. Or they spend the movie with Alec Baldwin as the Shadow just haunting criminals in like various vignettes
Yep.
of like what kind of horrific things those men do and how he turns it on them.
Yep.
I think that would like make the movie smaller. I think probably would have been a better angle.
It should be smaller because the initial premise is not particularly grandiose. Like when they get to an atom bomb, the movie takes a turn for me plot wise only in the fact that they try to make this as an end of the world stakes type of movie.
Yeah. And we got to remember too, like at this time, Batman is like the movie that everyone's trying to emulate. So obviously, you know, a lot of those producers just like make it like Batman. You know, he's got to save the world every time instead of doing like smaller stories that make sense to the character.
Yeah.
Well, to go off of what Brad was saying about, you know, make it smaller, make the con guy a more involved villain. I mean, they already discussed like how he and the Shadow are sibling disciples because they were both taught by the Durva or whatever. Who was it, Zach?
Sure.
Ra's al Ghul.
The Tolkien. not Ra's al Ghul. The Tolkien.
The Tolkien. So they're both sibling disciples of the Tolkien. So it's like you could have, you know, really leaned into that. And it's like, you know, the con guy maybe learned the Tolkien's like really just kind of vicious, efficient, like murdering stuff. And then the Shadow learned more of like the, you know, mystical arts or something. I don't know. Something to kind of create this like dichotomy in how, you know, one has to, you know, the yin and yang, that they kind of balance each other, but they're always in contest with each other as well.
Yeah, or as like, and Shiwan Khan is a villain in the pulps, so he has established. But I'd argue that if you're going to introduce Shiwan Khan, you'd want to do it maybe in the third Shadow movie. Like, let's say there's a trilogy of Shadow movies by Russell Mulcahy. It's his Dark Knight trilogy, and you have Shiwan Khan as the last one because it seems like the most formidable and the most threatening. But you start off small with the first movie, and then you grow towards it. But obviously they're not thinking that in 94. They're thinking, we'll get the most well-known villain that we can find. But, like, even with all that we're discussing, like, there's something about when I sit down to watch it, I'm immediately entered into the mode of a child, and I'm able to enjoy it on the level of going like, wow, there's a Shadow movie, and it exists. And that kind of feels really cool to me. It's like I say, it's not perfect, but I do enjoy what I'm given for the most part. There's only like a few things that take it out of me for it, and the one major thing is this was pointed out to me by my friend Matt. When they're in the Cobalt Club and Lamont first eyes Margot Lane and he is going to order the drink for her, when it cuts to Margot Lane's coverage, the music starts changing to Kenny G's Sexy Sax. And I don't appreciate that when we had perfectly fine swing music in the first half of this scene, and now we're suddenly getting Sexy Sax. Not cool. Not cool, Shadow movie. Can't put Kenny G in this movie.
That's where it all falls apart for Zach.
That's where it all falls apart. You can't put Kenny G in the Shadow, guys. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But yeah, no. And also, I kind of have an issue with... Nowadays, I have an issue with the way Margot Lane's portrayed, because Margot Lane's much more capable in the stories and in the radio show specifically than she is in this movie. And I wish she was a little bit more active. But obviously, this is 1994. I'm not getting that. That's not what Margot Lane's there to do in this movie. But I think there are shades of... one of my favorite moments in the movie is when they're walking down the street in New York before he goes to the beryllium sphere that Tim Curry is making. And they're basically doing banter that they would have done on the radio show, where he's telling Margot Lane where to go to find information about the abandoned hotel or the abandoned lot. And she says, well, what are you going to do? And he goes like, well, Mr. Tim Curry's going to get a visit from the Shadow. And perks up every time I watch. So like there's moments in this film where I'm like perked up, like, oh my god, they're doing the thing I like. So again, there's a yin and yang on me with this movie too. So also Ian McKellen's American accent kind of bothers me, but that's whatever. Like that's not supposed to be perfect.
Does he have it in X-Men?
No. He just speaks like Ian McKellen because he just.
I thought he was wasted in this movie. Him and Tim Curry.
Oh, totally.
Margaret.
They had nothing to do. I was just like waiting for them to show up, and then I was like, okay, so where did they go again? And
then they chase a bomb throughout the hotel.
Like 7 minutes.
Yeah, I expected Tim Curry to be like, just like a second in command lackey thing, but he really could have had his own movie.
Yeah.
As a villain with his whole plot,
Yeah, he's a character that I wish they had a little more screen time for. Ian McKellen not being on screen much makes sense because he wasn't a big star in 1994, so there's no reason to give him more scenes per se. But he's fine with what he's given. And I think this is why James might like this movie, because it talks about the importance of being colorblind and how that can affect people in real life. So he's got to remember which one is green and red.
Shawan Khan got rid of Tim Curry's character, right? Or was it the Shadow?
The Shadow made him kill himself.
Yeah, the Shadow made him jump out and exit.
What is it with this movie? Like having people that it reminded me of the Purple Man from Jessica Jones, where they just like have this power of persuasion to make you just do whatever they want. And it's like, oh yeah, I want you to kill yourself. And it's like, what the fuck?
There is so much forced suicide in this movie that it is weird. The best choreographed.
That one joke where the guy like jumps off the Empire State Building and then it cuts to the Shadow walking down the street and he's like, everything's falling into place as like a guy is falling in the background. I'm like, oh my gosh, that joke is terrible.
You know what? That Texas sailor shouldn't have made fun of Shiwan Khan's garb and try to insinuate that he was anything other than Shiwan Khan. But yeah, it is weird. It's that particular sequence is pretty well edited and shot. Like I love the cut between where he's like, come and listen to, they cut a little bit and they go the lullaby of Broadway and then he jumps. Like it's well constructed. But
also,
yeah,
what is it with this movie? Did they have some kind of anti-smoking agenda? The people go out on the balcony and stare at the cigarette ad and then they get brain controlled.
Corinne, I've been without cigarettes for a while, but I'd climb a mountain for a llama.
Yeah, that analogy didn't make any sense on that sign.
No, it was just like, oh, it's a face that's right in front of this building. It's easily melded into, creating a form of persuasion. But,
that's what I'm saying is like seem very anti-cigarette where it's like, oh yeah, like look at our ad and it's like you're being brainwashed.
The only media that's ever done it better is on Family Guy when they did the commercials for Lassie where it's like smoke and then they cut to a little bit of Lassie and they go smoke, cut to a little bit of Lassie, are you smoking yet? And then I enjoy the overall aesthetic and tone. The production design is great, but it gets a lot of things wrong. Like there's no theater that would just be called vaudeville. Like it would have been like the Palace Theater or the Ziegfeld Theater. It just says vaudeville. It's a little weird, but
it's like there's a pizza joint that just says pizza or hotel. Just generic.
There's a Mexican restaurant in Lakewood. Every time I drive by, it just says Mexican restaurant. So, I mean, you never know.
We should start a podcast shop called Podcast Shop.
I gotta say, I really like his abilities. And now, I mean, like, yeah, I was expecting, especially with the opening scene with the, kind of the Far Eastern influence, I was like, oh, he's just gonna be Batman. Like, he's just gonna be this rich guy who goes around punching people at night. But the fact that he has this kind of like, influence on people's minds and he can turn himself invisible more or less, and he can like see through illusions and things, like that was actually kind of cool. And I was like, damn it, I really want a Martian Manhunter movie because it would be awesome.
They should portray him like Mysterio.
Yeah, kind of. I've stood firm. Ever since Ryan got me into rewatching Darkman and stuff. my consensus is that if you could take what they're establishing in the mythology in this film and mix it with what Sam Raimi does as a filmmaker in Darkman, you'd get a great Shadow movie. And I think that the big key thing is like you have to downplay times he comes out of his cloak of the clouding of people's minds to punch people or grab them by the legs or whatever. Like something that's amazing about the radio show is that he plays psychological mind games with them. And I think that would be a much more interesting movie to play with, not just in the horror realm, but also in terms of the superhero realm. Is just like, what if this guy was just like really good at like persuading you to, give yourself up? There's great like episodes where he like confronts people in the sewer and like basically encourages them to not put a bomb underneath the sewer, but instead to go up and show people the bomb he's made to see if they admire him for the bomb he's made. And then that's how he tricks them. Like he tricks them with their egos and their vanity and stuff. And it's all really fascinating. I think this movie gets very close to that, but it just doesn't hit the mark. But it's still really fun to enjoy and watch. And I like this movie more than like a Dick Tracy because it kind of caters to something inbred in me as a kid. So, and I thank you for joining me on this journey.
Yeah, the guy who plays the con, I think, is probably the best part of the movie. I think yeah, he's got a good just sense of like the movie he's in and the role he's playing, and he just kind of fits into it very well. But I gotta say, I was a little confused as to why a character that has like Far Eastern influence dresses like a gunslinger. That just didn't make any sense to me.
I don't. It looks cool.
Yeah, it's it's
tonally, it's just weird.
Well, he when he comes back to America, he has to adapt a style that would help him blend further in. So it would make sense. He's not really a gunslinger. He's more like a mysterious man of the night, or like a guy walking down the street in a trench coat kind of thing.
Well, I get that, but he has the guns, so why not have like a sword or
because he looks cooler.
Because
he doesn't even need a weapon. Don't even give him guns. I don't care.
Because it's from the day.
He doesn't want to copy Aaron Black's style from Mortal Kombat 11.
That's right.
He's a gunslinger, looks like the Shadow.
He does.
Also, I do like the agents aspect of this movie, but I feel like it's really weird to introduce the fact that he has agents working for him this early on in the game. It would make more sense to have it just be him and Margot Lane, or him before he teams up with Margot Lane. The idea of the Shadow having agents and like a life debt is something that I think if you redid it today, you'd have to be a little bit more clever with how you present it, because it does sound like he's basically just recruiting an army by guilt alone. So
yeah, I mean,
if even just the idea, like keep the same idea, but just phrase it differently. Just say, "Hey, I've saved your life. Now help me save other people by helping me when I call on you," sort of a thing.
Or have the victims offer, like they could just have Sab Shimono be like, anything I can do for you, just let me know. He's like, well, there actually is one thing you can do. Like, it's easy as that, instead of just being like, hey, now you have to do something for me. And Shimono's like, oh, okay. I didn't know that was part of the deal.
Indentured servitude.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Like, what's funny is that Peter Boyle's character of Mo, who is also in the pulp and like in the radio show, like he's more on board with it. So like it's really Roy Tam who's kind of like asking the legitimate question of why should I do this? Like
yeah, we never find out like why, like how the Shadow saved him, or the guy who like does the like the bank the teller things.
The tube thing, his office, his like communication offices.
Yeah, like those guys we never, like, they're just there. It would have been nice to like find out like, why they are willing to help, like what the Shadow did to help them.
It'd be cool if there was a longer cut of this movie that explained those things, but I don't think that it exists and we'll ever get it. I think it's interesting to just let it sit there as just like, oh, this is a guy who has clearly been working in the city for a while and has amassed a lot of quote unquote favors. But yeah, so he's even got the police working for him. That one police officer in the very long coat.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So Ryan, are you an agent of the shadow?
You know it.
Yeah,
What I do.
Well, only if the shadow saves his life, apparently.
I
How do you
saved.
know he hasn't?
I saved your life, Lion Frost. It belongs to me. Okay, whatever.
You could have had full-blown COVID-19, but I stopped it with my antibodies.
Shadow knows.
The weed of COVID bears bitter fruit. Not
Yeah.
wearing a mask doesn't pay.
I always thought that line was from Clerks, the animated series, and then, yeah, it's from
The
this.
weed of kind bears bitter fruit, you old hag.
Dude, shut up.
That confused me because I was like, how the hell do weeds bear fruit? Like, I've seen weeds, they don't do shit.
Just listen to the radio show. It sounds really cool when it's coming from a mysterious voice sponsored by a coal company.
Yeah.
So Ryan, looks like you're up again.
Yeah, are we doing that? Or are we doing a film explosion?
I'm down to do it. I have to double check my schedule for Sunday and Monday to make sure I'm not working. Otherwise, I'm giving you guys a list. And
If we do it in the morning, or if we do it Sunday, it's got to be in the morning for me. And then I just need lists from everybody so I can make a DVD in like 4 days.
Okay, I can give you 2 tonight, Brad. I'm going to double check my calendar and I'll let you guys know ASAP.
Brad, do you want to just do it not this week, the following week?
Following week's probably better. Give people more time to like build up to it.
Okay, I'll pick a movie.
You'll pick a movie. Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! It's
I'll
gonna be a
probably.
Cary Grant. No, it.
Oh, a Cary Grant movie.
Dude, actually, pick one. That'd be fun.
It's got to be one we can all get.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I apologize, by the way, for anybody who had to purchase The Shadow.
Yeah, that's $4 I'm never getting back.
Hey, you know, I'll reveal it to you here right now, Ryan. This was intentional because Alec Baldwin called me and he said he needed $4, and I said I don't have $4. I said I don't have $4, Mr. Baldwin, but I know how I can get you $4. And then that's when I just let it slide that you had to purchase this movie, Ryan. So you just gave Alec Baldwin $4.
I almost bought it because Shout's having like a San Diego Comic-Con sale, so I almost like pre-bought it before I watched it, and now I'm like, I might just get Ninja 3 only.
Nice.
It also doesn't have that many special features, so
It's gonna
Available at your local library.
the behind the scenes featurette does have Alec Baldwin looking rather distressed as he talks about it. It looks like he had not had a shower that day.
yeah.
But
Are we doing Film Explosion all together in the same room?
Hopefully.
we'll have to figure it out. Yeah.
I mean, one of us just did have COVID-19, so I just want to make sure people
That's
like
fine.
James are cool with that.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
So I'm not going to be some pariah. I'm fine. I'm not going to infect anybody.
Ryan's a pariah, Maya.
That's why I almost didn't tell anybody, because I don't want them to act weird around me.
Too late. We already do.
Yeah.
Ryan, I'm just gonna virtually shake you and go, everything's gonna be okay.
Better not be licking glasses or touching my food when we're
Well,
explosion.
yeah, well, it's only, really bad the first 2 days. I get to infect you once I don't have any more symptoms, so I'm probably pretty good to go. All right.
We'll figure it out.
Yep. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Draft House in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.